Hey bricks and mortar retailers, welcome to this week's video, and I'm going to be talking about retail marketing strategies, trying to address some of the main concerns that we have as bricks and mortar retail store owners, and just some of my thoughts about what we need to be reminding ourselves of, and how we can continue to grow our businesses by using some basic techniques. As we all know, retailers, we face many challenges in the competitive marketplace today, and not only from online giants, but also from the fact that we are all struggling, and we're all in competition with other businesses to attract and retain customers, and especially many of us high street owners, we don't actually have much of a budget, right? Many of us are working, if we're in the 1 to 10 mil range, we're working within a limited marketing budget. And so these are some of the very big frustrations that we all experience. And, what do we want? We want, obviously, if you're watching this, you want to grow your bricks and mortar store. You want to grow your revenue. You want to increase your profitability, increase your cash flow. And you also want to ensure that you've got a raving fan base, you're servicing your customers, and you're building loyalty and long-term relationships, because that's the key to success here. And marketing is like this myth, right? And many of us retailers, we probably haven't studied marketing. Many of us fail to realize that it's a matter of testing and measuring, and there's a whole science behind it. One of the other big mistakes I see retailers making is that we try a marketing technique flimsily, and we don't actually give it time for the marketing results to bear fruition, or it's a science, right? And we don't sort of test and measure. We kind of throw something at the wall and hope it sticks, and then we get frustrated because it doesn't work, and then we move on to the next strategy, thereby chasing our tail. So, yeah, these are some really common frustrations that I see all the time. It's the same mistakes that I made when I was running my pharmacies, and it's super common with all the clients that I work with, most of the clients I work with. And in today's age, it's so easy to get seduced by doing online strategies, going down the Instagram or the TikTok rabbit hole, trying to run Facebook ads, so on and so forth. Don't get me wrong, these things are important, and you definitely need to do these things to continue to grow your business and tap into that market that is sitting out there. But before we even do that, I want to make sure we get some of the fundamentals right. Like the fundamentals, that what I call retail marketing 101. So the first thing is, I think in no particular order, but it really starts from having a strong brand. So it's about identifying what your brand identity is, what you stand for in the marketplace, or your values, and then working backwards to create a story about your business, about your store. And by having an understanding of your brand and taking the time to work out what your brand identity is, that allows you to be a differentiator in the marketplace. Because trust me, most high street retailers, within the 1 to 10 mil range, they pay no attention to this stuff. They kind of either buy an existing business or set up a store, put some product in there, and just hope it will sell, rather than really understanding, getting under the hood behind you, getting under the hood with you, the retail store owner, and your business, and trying to figure out how you can differentiate in the market and build trust. And a lot of that process involves reflecting on the values on what your business stands for, and that your values for your business actually come from yourself and understanding your target market, which I'll talk to later. So once you define a brand story as the narrative, and you can then start to communicate the journey of your vision and your mission for your store. So I'd love to hear, do you have a vision or a mission for your store? Do your team actually know what your vision is? Do they know what their mission is when they come into your store every day? Yes, no, in the comment section below. I'd love to know. But so once you create a mission and vision, and you understand the values for your store, and you communicate that to your team members, and then you start to roll it out within your store, onto your retail store, you will then start to be able to connect emotionally to your clients and definitely your team members as well, right? So by showcasing or your value, you can then start to curate your products and services on how they can improve your customers' lives. Because remember, when somebody walks into your store, more than likely 90% of the time they have a problem that they need to be solved, whether it's purchasing something, getting a new, I don't know, piece of clothing, or if they're coming into your wine store figuring out what wine to buy, or in your bookstore what book to read. Everyone's got some sort of problem, whether they know it or not. They're coming into your store for, and it's really important that you and your team are aware on how to solve that problem, right? And so by showcasing, by understanding what your value and your brand story is, you can ensure that there's consistency across all touch points within your store. That involves consistency with the service that you provide. That all stems from your brand story. Also, your storefront, your website, your Facebook page, all your social media stuff, in-store merchandising, all of those things. And from your understanding your brand story, you can then engage customers through your brand. And you can do that in a consistent manner. And when you get this stuff right, when you get the building a strong brand stuff right, it just makes it so much easier for you, because you can just roll it out to whatever platform, methodology, however it is that you're showcasing your business. It just becomes so much easier, and ensures uniformity in your visual and verbal elements, so that your audience, your customers, continue to trust you. And it just makes it so much easier. So that's the first thing that I would suggest that you start with when you're trying to understand how to do some sort of marketing strategy. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, and I've spoken about this ad nauseum, is understanding your target audience, right? Don't be all things to all people. I'd love to know, do you know who your target audience is? Yes, no, put it in the comment section below. And if you do, I'd love to know in the comments, who is your target audience? So it might be wine lovers if you own a wine store within a particular demographic. It might be a particular kind if you own a bookstore. You're catering to a particular story or a particular types of books within a particular theme. Pop that in the comment section below. I'd love to know who your target audience is. But so once you create your target audience and you take the time to create it, everything becomes also so much easier, because now you're really, really clear on what problem you're solving, and what kind of customers that you're chasing and how you can help them. Being all things to all people, which many retailers are, especially in the smaller size, the 1 to 10 mil range, it's so hard to do anything correct. It's so hard to grow your business because you're kind of spreading yourself thin and you're not differentiating yourself in the marketplace. Knowing your target audience also it just helps you scale your business, takes it to the next level, because you can be super focused on the marketing campaigns that you deliver. You're super focused on the way you communicate. You're super focused on how you train your team. So it just makes everything so much easier by understanding your target audience. I'm going to leave a link, or if you want a copy of my guide on how to figure out your target audience, just put target in the comment section below, and we will get it out to you. So so now that we've got our brand identity, we know who we're targeting. Now I want to talk about some common marketing tactics that are often overlooked. And I'm not talking about, doing Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whatever's working now at the moment. I'm just going to reflect on some of the traditional marketing tactics, which many of us have thrown out now because we think we're living in 2024 and none of this stuff matters. So the first thing is, like, traditional advertising channels like print, radio, TV, depending on where you are, do still work, right? The crazy thing I see is, if we are running these kind of campaigns, we have a slapdash approach. Like, we're not really considering who our target audience is. So we're putting a very general ad. There's no call to action, which I'll talk about later. But it's more of a branding exercise, which is great once you reach a certain level. So some branding exercises can work, but typically when you're in the 1 to 10 mil range and you're an independent high street retailer, you want to be creating campaigns that have a clear call to action, that actually prompt your customer to do something, come in and do something. And having a clear call to action in using one of these traditional advertising channels like I was talking about allows you to track and measure your campaign as well. So really, really important. The other traditional offline marketing tactic, which your grandpa, your grandmother did in their store back in the good old days, was to get involved in community engagement and partnerships. So this seems to many retailers that I talk to, this can be a drain, right? But it doesn't have to be that way. You can allocate, you can um, position your team members to do these things for you. Certainly in the beginning, you may have to do it yourself, like do fun things like sponsor local events, collaborate with complementary businesses, really get out there in the community. Once you, as the owner, have done the legwork, it becomes very easy then to pass that off to your retail manager or to key members of your staff once you've trained them up. So local community engagement, especially for us high street retailers, amazing, right? The next thing is event marketing and experiential promotions. These work really, really well. In-store events and workshops are all the rage now, but they've always been, the best retailers have been doing that from the beginning. So hosting in-store events that aligns with your customers, that solves their problem, really drives engagement. I also don't want to discount some of the old school things that a lot of retailers are missing, such as having an A-frame or a sidewalk, advertising, or a banner or something like that you have around your store, outside your store, to create a little bit of a buzz. It's so important to do that. The next thing is I want to talk about with retail marketing 101 is to create compelling promotions. So you want to make sure that you've got your pricing correct. You understand your unique selling propositions when you are creating these promotions and campaigns. And you're making sure that the products that you have set your store apart from your competitors. And this is where it's really important to know who your target audience is, right? Because then you can really start to delve deep into what keeps them up at night, what problems they are trying to solve, and you can start to create unique selling propositions based around your promotional stuff that you do. Of course, the last thing which I see a lot of retailers forgetting is the whole loyalty component and customer retention. So customer retention, by now, it costs so much more money to go out and get a new customer, where it's so much easier to keep your existing ones and actually sell more to your existing customers. That's the big thing, right? The best way to do that is to implement a loyalty program and reward repeat purchases. And that way you get to foster long-term relationships. So you must have a loyalty program in place. It's like a non-negotiable now. They're not very expensive to buy, run, and implement. You have so much data from once you start to ensure that your team members are, one, signing people up to your loyalty program. Number two, they're either scanning their card or for every purchase, recording their sales. So you also give them some cashback or some rewards. But also that information that you have in your loyalty program, combine that with the information that's available on your point of sale system. When you marry that two together, and once you start to get data, you can start to build out some amazing promotions and get a deeper understanding of who your clients are, what are they buying, what's happening. And it's a great way to test and measure. And marketing to your loyalty program subscribers is so cost effective, so cost effective. So there you go. That's some basic retail marketing 101 strategies. So I just want to reiterate again, make sure that you understand what your brand stands for, right? Your brand identity. Know your target audience. Don't discount offline marketing tactics, like print media. Depends on who your clients are, who your ideal clients are. I used to discount and hate newspapers, but if your demographic and the problem that you're solving, if your demographic are reading a newspaper and you have a clear call to action in there, a really good promotion, like, it's a no-brainer, right? So just consider that in mind. And also, so that's that. And also make sure that you're implementing some sort of loyalty program and creating compelling promotions. There you go. So all of this is summarized. I have a copy of this in a document. If you want a copy of this document with all my retail marketing strategies, not only the 3 or 4 that I went through today, but I've got a whole stack of them. I think 8 or 9. If you want a copy of that, just put your hand up in the comment section below and write down marketing strategies, and we'll make sure we get that out to you. Cool. Until next time, make sure you hit the like, subscribe button, and reach out if you have any questions. And until next time, much love. Catch you later.